advance to the Mohicans. You better make it a good one.
The dinosaurs out here.
Yeah, dinosaurs.
Anthony, stand up.
Okay, here we go. Okay, last one. Look here, guys. Look here. Okay, we're done, gentlemen. Thanks. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I get you.
It's too early.
I would like to recognize a few people. We have Lieutenant J.G. Veronica Smith from the Coast Guard. And we have Sean Gallagher, who's one of the motorcycles. He is a Beirut veteran. Color guard. Post. Let us join in prayer. Eternal Father, strong to save, by whose abiding love and care our lives are blessed. We have gathered together today in this sacred convocation to ask that you continue to watch over the souls of the brave heroes who perished 29 years ago due to a cowardly act of terrorism perpetrated by Islamic terrorists against a peacekeeping force of Marines, sailors, and soldiers. Great supporter of our cause, Arnold Church.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure for me to be here today. I am thrilled and honored to be representing the United States Marine Corps in this capacity. I cannot tell you how humbled I am, and I am very, very pleased to be here. I'd like to thank the chaplain for his riveting invocation this morning. Very well done, chaplain. Good to see you again. Thank you so much. I'd like to acknowledge the Coast Guards here. Lieutenant J.G. Smith, would you stand up, please? United States Coast Guard present. Thank you, Lieutenant. Some of you may know, some of you may not know, the only Coast Guardsman to win the Medal of Honor did so by serving with the United States Marine Corps and rescuing Marines in World War II. Douglas Munro is the only Coast Guardsman to ever win the Medal of Honor and did so in serving our United States Marine Corps. So Semper Fidelis and Semper Paratus Coast Guard. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank Chief Bryant. The first thing you learn when you're a sailor at sea, and I was, is ask the chief. Whenever you get on ship, that's the very first thing you learn, ask the chief. I'd also like to thank Dan Murray. For those of you who don't know the difference between a pit bull and Dan Murray, there isn't any. When Dan Murray asks you to do something, he keeps asking and keeps asking and keeps asking until you do it. So I'm very grateful for Dan's invitation. And it's a small world. Dan's nephew and I served together at Immaculata University, where I'm a professor and so is his nephew. So I'm very grateful for that. It's very nice. I'm pleased to be here and very grateful that my son Travis has joined me. You know, nearly 3 decades ago, in 1983, a first-class postage stamp cost 20 cents. A gallon of gas cost about $1.25. The Philadelphia 76ers defeated Los Angeles Lakers for the NBA World Championship. There was a young entrepreneur named Steve Jobs that predicted one day we'd have small portable telephones. We'd walk around with computers in our hip pocket talking to people. And in 1983, the first woman in space in the United States, Sally Ride, touched the stars in the Space Shuttle Challenger. And of course, in 1983, in a simultaneous attack, 241 Marines, soldiers and sailors, and least we forget, 58 French paratroopers, and 6 innocent Lebanese civilians perished in one day. And what the chaplain called a cowardly act. A cowardly act, without question. And that day has impacted our Marine Corps for the last 3 decades. I can tell you as an enlisted sailor, as a midshipman in the United States Naval Academy, and as an officer on both active duty and reserve status, that event has shaped our Corps in the way in which we perceive ourselves. There's no doubt whatsoever. You can ask any Marine of any age to tell you about Beirut, Lebanon, and he or she will tell you immediately what they know about it. And what they know about it is this: be ever ready, ever vigilant, and never forget. It's quite that simple. But this morning, I'd like to share some of my personal reflections with regard to this commemoration. The first is this: if you wish to know about the Beirut bombing, there are many history books you can read. And you can talk to some people here who are actual veterans of that experience. But one of the most moving I've read is by a Navy chaplain, a Jewish chaplain. A Jewish chaplain, with then Lieutenant Reznikov, wrote very eloquently on a personal level about what transpired that day. And for those of you who don't know, and I know our chaplain does know, on that day, Chaplain Reznikov went side by side with a Roman Catholic chaplain, then Lieutenant Commander George Pucciarelli. And side by side, they went through the rubble and unearthed Marines, sailors, and soldiers, innocent civilians, and offered them compassion. Side by side, a Navy Jewish chaplain and a Navy Roman Catholic chaplain. In fact, those two together found a Protestant chaplain they'd served with, who miraculously had survived. If you want to read a moving account of that day, read what that chaplain wrote. Then Lieutenant Reznikov. It's an amazing story. And the irony is this: in the Middle East, where people were fighting and killing one another because their religions were different, you had a Navy chaplain who was Jewish and a Navy chaplain who was Catholic side by side. But for those of us who live in Philadelphia, that's not new. In fact, a few miles from here at Temple University stands the chapel of 4 chaplains. At Temple University stands the Chapel of 4 Chaplains. It was dedicated in 1951. And this is a true story. In World War II, in 1943, in the North Atlantic on the Dorchester, Germans attacked. They started sinking into the icy waters of the North Atlantic. And 4 chaplains were giving out life preservers. 4 Army chaplains. And they kept giving them out. And finally there were more people than life preservers. And the 4 chaplains stayed on board the ship and gave their life preservers up so that those individuals could survive. And the last thing the survivors saw was a Catholic chaplain, a Jewish chaplain, and 2 Protestant chaplains together bowed in prayer, sacrificing themselves for others. In our nation, the concept of faith and fidelity to service are not disconnected. Whether it's God, Allah, Yahweh, Buddha, it doesn't matter. In this country, you have the ability to profess your faith and serve your nation. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, I've been other places where that doesn't happen. That does not happen. And just 2 years ago, I was in Marja, Afghanistan on Easter Sunday weekend, where I personally witnessed, over that period of time, a Navy Muslim chaplain lead prayers with Afghans in Marja, Afghanistan, and impress upon them his ability to profess his faith in that context while wearing this uniform, or more specifically, that uniform. That's what makes this country great, and that's why these 9 souls were willing to give their lives in defense of this nation. Because the concept of fidelity to faith and service to nation exists in this country, and it does not exist. It does not exist around the world. The second thing I will share with you is this is a beautiful memorial. And I'm grateful that you're out here today. And it speaks volumes about you as citizens and patriots to be here today. If you're ever near Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and some of you have spent some time there, I would encourage you to return to see the Beirut Memorial there. In the beautiful, quiet North Carolina countryside, there's a glen, and in this glen, there are 273 trees and 273 azalea bushes. The reason there's 273 is because 241 died that day in the attack, but others succumbed to wounds and injuries subsequent to that. And every March, those azalea bushes bloom, and they're bright and they're beautiful. And on that wall, it says they came in peace. And that's what those Marines, sailors, and soldiers tried to do. They came in peace. And the only thing I would add to that wall is one word. I would say they came in peace. Amen. They came in peace. Amen. And these 9 souls of Philadelphia came in peace as well. That Beirut Memorial is an amazing tribute to those Marines, sailors, and soldiers, just as this is an amazing tribute here in Philadelphia. And we're very grateful for that. The last thing I would share with you is this, and some people forget this. On October 23rd, it was a devastating attack. And if you talk to Marines who were in uniform or members of the armed service who were in uniform, we were in shock. We weren't really sure what had happened. It had never happened like that before. It was a new kind of war. It was the first step in the global war on terrorism. And we were taken aback. I will tell you, you talk to Marines, sailors, soldiers, and airmen, they weren't really sure. They were in shock. But they got over it. Because 2 days later, less than 48 hours later, the United States Marine Corps and our other services launched an attack in Grenada to free medical students and to solve civil strife. A humbling day for me, and I'm very appreciative to be here. And I am amazed and honored that so many of you would come out today and take time from your family and your busy schedule to come out here. It speaks volumes to you as citizens, to you as veterans, and I'm humbled by your presence. I'm glad to be here today.
Bonk. Corporal Thomas A. Hairston. Sergeant Gilbert Hanton. Corporal John F. Muffler. Sergeant Rafael Pomales-Porres. Chief RV-Manuel A. Relvas. Corporal Louis J. Rotondo. Sergeant Alan D. Wesley. Our Father, our King, we ask that you be with each one of us as we depart from these solemn proceedings this day. Prosper us in all our undertakings. Guide us and direct us in all actions that we take. Let nothing evil come upon us. Grant that each one of us will receive your blessing of arriving at our desired destination in safety and in peace. We ask all of this in your most holy name. Amen. Catch, clean up. Gentlemen, this concludes our program. We thank everybody, all your Marines, especially came here to
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Thank you so much for the work.
Thank you.
I was glad my son was able to be here. It's good you were here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here, man. Grateful for your presence. Thanks for coming here. I really appreciate it very much.